Now for this project, this is a spring greens wild vinegar, so to speak. So it's a really good time of year to go harvest all those lovely spring greens. And basically what you do is you just get a really nice big glass jar. It can be a Kilner jar, whatever, just something you can seal. And you get yourself some lovely vinegar. You can choose white vinegar, you can use apple cider vinegar. I've got the cider vinegar here because of, you know, obviously it's giving you the added benefits of, you know, sort of medicinal qualities. But you can use any vinegar you like as long as it is a food-based vinegar, which they all are. So what I've harvested for this particular occasion is I've got some lovely nettle, I've got some cleavers, and I've got some chickweed. I've also got some magnolia here, but I will do that separately. So what we're doing is I've harvested these all from a place that was, you know, clean, where there was no pollution, so away from traffic, away from areas where, you know, people will be walking. You know, vibrant plants, something, you know, you just need to look at them and just make sure that they haven't got any dark bits on them, that they just look vibrant and they look healthy, because obviously that means you've got the best possible quality product to start with, because that's the whole point of wild foraging, is that you go for the really good quality specimens that you can find. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to chop these all up and I'm going to put them in the jar. So this is your lovely Kilner jar, and then here are all those lovely wild greens that we've harvested. Now there's different ways of doing it, there's no right or wrong, but I tend to just, you know, use scissors and then just chop them up nicely, just to make sure that your vinegar can get everywhere and just really can soak in those lovely greens quite easily. So I've got my cleavers, I've got chickweed, I've got some dandelion leaves as well, I've got nettle. You'll see that I'm holding nettle without gloves. That's from years of handling it. Don't try this at home without you know, without gloves. You might want to wear some gloves yourself. I'm just used to handling them. So you just chop them nicely. It doesn't have to be super fine, but you know, fine enough, as I said, to allow all your greens to be surrounded by the liquid. These are your nice fresh cleavers. Cleavers need to be processed very quickly. You will notice that when you harvest them, that, you know, within sort of the hour of coming home with them, they'll wilt. So I always say try and either get them in your cold infusions immediately, or process them into your vinegar as soon as you get the chance. If you know you're not going to get to them soon enough, then wrap them in a bit of paper, just regular paper, and stick them in the fridge, and that does help a little bit, but yeah, they do need to be processed fairly swiftly. So here's some more lovely cleavers. So I've gone for cleavers and chickweed and nettle and dandelion leaf because A, they are in season obviously, and B, it just hits all those organs of elimination that you want to target this time of year. So you want to make sure that you support your lymphatic system, that you support your liver, your digestive system, the skin. You know, it's all great for making sure that everything feels a lot lighter this time of year. Nature's pretty clever that way. It grows things when we need them, really. So let's keep going. So just a little bit more. Like I said, I'm not chopping these really finely, but enough to sort of increase the surface area of your plants. So that's just about right. I didn't actually measure this, but it seems I've foraged just enough to fill my jar. So there's that. Last few bits, let's not waste any of it. So that can all go in there. Like like I said, you can add anything you want. You can even add violet flowers or daisies or whatever takes your fancy, but this is absolutely fine. So nice and loose, sort of about 3/4, half to 3/4 full, loosely packed. You don't want this to sort of be rammed down, because you want the liquid to be able to get down there nicely and do its extracting. So we've packed that all in nicely now. As you see, it's not all the way up to the top, but it's high enough, sort of about 3/4 full. You can put a little bit more in there, but for me this is sufficient. So what we do now, I've just used cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar. You can use whatever you want. If you want it to be a proper green juice or green vinegar, then obviously you would add you know, a little bit more just regular white vinegar. So what we do is we top that up. Let me just get another bottle. I'm gonna have to mix this with half and half. So like I said, you know, it doesn't really matter. You can add whatever you want, you know, as long as it is a food quality vinegar that you're happy to actually use internally. I tend to give that a little stir at that point. So just make sure that everything is under nice and neat. As you can see, so that's, ideally I should have gone a bit higher, but I've run out of vinegar, so that's plenty. Everything is nice and covered, so that's what you want. And then you take another one of your parchment papers. I tend to sort of cut them so that they don't stick over the edge too much, so that's plenty. And then what you do is you just press it down, close your lid, and then make sure that that's nice and closed. So we've got that here now. So I've just closed that with the parchment paper, and that is, as I've already said, that's just to protect your metal from the acidity of your vinegar, because obviously that will cut into it. So that's a sort of lovely, easy principle. You now just leave this in your kitchen, on, you know, your kitchen counter, and you just give this a daily shake. You decant it, you put it through a sieve, muslin cloth, whatever, after about 2 weeks, and then you just have that as your lovely spring green vinegar. If you can't do it within 2 weeks, if you're traveling or if you're sort of doing something and you need to leave it, it's fine if you leave it an extra week. That's absolutely not a problem. But this will be absolutely lovely and refreshing. And obviously, because it's a vinegar, it lasts so much longer than if you were to just make a herbal infusion with this, with hot water, which is obviously also delicious, but this will last a lot longer because of the acidity of your vinegar. So as easy as that, in 2 weeks' time, we'll revisit this. We will then, take off the herbs and keep the liquid, and then you're left with your beautiful wild spring greens vinegar. So it's been 2 weeks, and this is the lovely spring greens vinegar, which I infused in apple cider vinegar for just over 2 weeks. And that's now ready for straining. So what you do is you get your tools ready. So obviously you just want a lovely container to catch your produce in, and you want something that will stop your actual herbs from going into the liquid. So you can use a sieve, you can use one of these if you like, and then line that with a muslin cloth or a cheesecloth. I've recently started using funnels because I just think it's less messy and it makes sure that all your herbs do get directed into where you need them. I get cheesecloth in bulk. I've got loads, so you can cut it to size and make sure that you put that inside your funnel so that it covers it completely and that you don't really have any sort of spillover from the sides, so to speak. And that what we do is then we strain it's vibrant, it's full of the goodness of the fresh herbs that you've infused in there for 2 weeks. And the great thing is that you know, it lasts a long time. It's extracted all those minerals and vitamins, which you know, nothing does like vinegar. Vinegar is so good at doing that. So really good way to preserve those spring herbs in the sort of months you know, going forward, when they've actually disappeared. So you'll still have these. So you put this in a bottle, a glass bottle, and you would use it like you would use any vinegar. So you can have a teaspoon in a glass of hot water as a tea, or you can use it in your dressings, you know, on your salads. You can use it for all sorts of things. It's a really good all-rounder. So I hope you've managed to make that spring greens vinegar. You've still got time, and that you can start enjoying your results very soon.